We've all heard about how important networking is, and I personally learned about how important networking was in my final undergrad year. I was suffering from senioritis and I was just ready to mail it in. I didn't want to work hard my final year. I wanted to start my first ever job. But before I was about to graduate, my college advisor came up to me, and this was a guy that I was super close with. His name was Dr. Wiley, and he says, "Yo, Armani, I was going through your curriculum recently, and I noticed that you never took the class Engineering for Professionals." So? What do you mean, so? This is one of the most important classes that you can take. I know it's an elective, but Armani, I highly recommend that you take it. And why is that? Well, you should take it because this class is going to teach you about networking. And if you want to move up in this world, Armani, you need to learn how to network. You need to learn how to shake hands with the right people because ultimately, everything comes down to human connections. I highly urge you to take this class. All right, old man, I'll take it. Now, I was a little bummed out because I wanted my final semester to just be chill so I could relax. But who cares? I could learn about a skill set that's going to help me out tremendously, so I might as well sign up. I signed up, and the next week the class began. I was expecting to learn about human psychology, human nature, emotional intelligence, how to build rapport, all these cool stuff. And instead, I started to learn about how to polish your shoes and the elevator pitch. The elevator pitch is a very unique subject. This is basically if you were to go into an elevator with your boss's boss, how would you present yourself? How would you let your boss's boss know who you are and the kind of value you provide in the elevator ride? I thought this was cool and all, but something about this sort of networking just didn't feel right. Oh well, I still needed to get an A, which I was able to do, but still, what I'm saying is it didn't feel right. By the next year, as I started my first ever job, I started to use a lot of the tips that I learned from Engineering for Professionals into the real world. And as I was trying to apply it, I started to notice something. I noticed that it made me feel extremely awkward. It just didn't feel right. I was talking too much. I sounded very bland. I didn't seem like I was showcasing my real personality. And I noticed that there were others who came into the company the same time as me that was doing much better. But for me, it felt like opportunities were just passing on by. Well, as a few years went on by, eventually I started to realize that what was taught in school may work for certain people, but for me, it was making me an awkward networker. For me, I wanted to become the noble networker, the networker that could create opportunities in real time while they're being themselves. They're not being a watered down generic version of themselves. They're being the real them. They're being the real Armani. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to be the real you. Because you may want to act a certain way to fit the mold, but this isn't going to allow for human connections. You're going to feel as though you're having a lot of surface level connections, but it's not deep. We're going for depth, because depth is what builds a friend or an acquaintance. Now, in this video, you're going to learn about the mindset regarding networking, because this is where it all begins. If you have the poor mindset regarding it, then you could try all these little tactics and all that stuff, but you're just not going to be committed. So in the mindset section, you're going to learn about the intent light switch. Then you're going to learn about offline and online networking. Armani, I just want to do one. No. Then you're going to be an awkward networker. That's not what today's video is about. We want you to be a noble networker. And to do this, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to implement offline and online strategies. And the final tip that I'm going to give you is going to be the most crucial tip. And most of us, what we think is that this final tip isn't a part of networking. I'm not going to tell you that yet because I want you to watch this whole video through and become this amplified version of yourself. Now, with that being said, let's get started with the mindset portion But before we do, make sure you drop a like right on below. The mindset part, you have to ask yourself why you want to network in the first place. If your response is, well, my boss wants me to, or I feel like I have to, then what you're doing is you're going to be one of those individuals who doesn't have conviction behind your moves. You're just going to be doing the moves, you're going to be saying all the words, but there's no conviction behind it. There's no energy, there's no power with you. And you're going to become someone easy to forget. People are going to forget about you so quick that you can't even say catch up. So how do you become one of those individuals who has conviction? You learn a little bit about the intent light switch. Now, the intent light switch is either on or off. Just like your light switch at home. Your light switch at home can't be on and off, right? It's either on, the light is on, or the light is not on. And if you try putting it in the middle section, what's going to happen? How about you pause this video and you try for yourself? What's going to happen is that the light's going to be off. And that's how a lot of us, we try networking. We're in the middle portion right here. We're like, well, my boss told me, I feel like I have to. These aren't strong whys. The why that you want to create is going to determine the conviction in your moves. And just to give you a little insight regarding my why, when I was in undergrad, it got to a point where, I wanted to get a job just to have a weekly paycheck coming in. I started to work as a driver. And this was right before all the Uber, Lyft, all of that stuff. This is when I was working in a place called Zingo. Now, as I was working there, after we would drop off the people, they would normally give tips. My coworker was a guy named Terry. And Terry was this dude that was stacking up so much tips, while me, I was barely scraping on by. I went up to Terry one day and I'm like, Terry, how the hell are you getting triple the amount of tips that I'm getting? I mean, what exactly are you doing that I'm not doing? And he says, well, Armani, it's pretty simple. What I do is I talk to the passengers. Do you talk to them? I said, no. You dummy. You're sitting in the car ride with them anyways. You might as well spark up conversation. And with that simple tip that he gave me, I started to spark up conversation, and soon enough, I was able to triple my tips. When I saw that effect happening in real time, how a little bit of networking can build my income, I was sold. And just to take it a little further, it wasn't just for the income. What also happened was I started to meet some important people. One of the guys that I met was the founder of a super famous company. He started to show me his mansion once I dropped him off. He had amazing cars and he was like in the cover of Forbes. I mean, this was amazing. And I wouldn't have known if I never networked. So that's how I was able to turn my intent light switch on. The intent that I go into networking with is the ability to improve my small talk skills. Your intent could be different. If you're starting a business, for example, your intent may be to get more leads. If you're shy, for example, your intent may be to overcome social anxiety. Whatever the case is, you need an intent and you need to keep working on it until the intent is on. You with me so far? Because if you are, then we could graduate from the mindset part to the next part, which is offline networking. When I first started networking for my business, ArmaniTalks, I was great to a certain extent, but I was flawed in so many other extents. For me, I wasn't taught much about business cards. So when I first printed my business cards, I was feeling like a winner. I was like, you see me with my business cards? I gotta make sure other people see these business cards too. So I started to go to networking events and I would just kind of like pass them out. And people would grab the business cards, they put it in their pocket. But as I did that, I noticed something didn't feel right. And one of the days as I was walking out of a networking session, I saw my beautiful business card in the trash. Someone threw my beautiful business card in the trash. I was livid, but there was a lesson behind this. The lesson was that your business cards don't mean shit if there's not a connection there first. When you're one of those individuals that's doing offline networking and you're just handing out business cards, what you're doing is you're taking before you're giving. The core element of offline networking, let alone any kind of networking, is that you want to be a giver first before you take. But Armani, I'm new to my business. I mean, I'm networking with CEOs. How am I supposed to give them value? You're going to give them value by targeting their primal desires. Now, the material desires is, let's say you give someone money, you give someone a job opportunity. Those are all material desires. But primal desires, these are what people truly want. Why do you think important people became important in the first place? It's not just about the money. They want something more. You know what that is? They want respect. And the way that you're going to give them respect is by giving them another primal thing, which is curiosity. If you're naturally curious regarding the person that you're networking with, your life becomes much, much easier. No longer are you worrying about the right thing to say. Instead, you're in that zone where you are just locked in and you're making their subconscious desires fulfilled. And that's how you're giving them value. I don't care if you're an intern networking with vice presidents, presidents, the CEO. If you show them curiosity, that means you're showing them respect. So that's the biggest thing I want you to learn. I want you to learn that you need to give value before you take. Now the next part is you gotta take too. Because some people, they're just kind of giving value away, value. Yeah, let me just listen to you the entire conversation. But they're not saying much. If you're not saying much, then you're going to be one of those individuals that just get forgotten. If you talk too much, then you ramble. If you don't talk at all, then you get rambled too. And if other people are just rambling to you the entire time, then you are not networking. Networking is all about the connection. So not only are you giving them value by addressing their primal desires, by giving them respect with your curiosity, you're also taking their respect by talking about what you bring to the table. What is it that you can help them with, but what is it that they can help you with too? All right? So with offline communication, it really comes down to giving value and taking value. Now with online communication, especially with networking, it's not too different. The main difference is that a lot of the rules that offline networking has doesn't necessarily apply to online. In online, there's no boundaries. You can network with someone from a different continent if you're strategic, if you use DMs properly, if you have a tool like email, if you can connect with others. This is where online communication is huge. What I recommend for this is you pick 1 to 2 platforms and you try to invest in this. Provide value by creating content. Let's say you're a subject matter expert for creative writing. You won't believe how many CEOs or business owners want to learn the ability to write. So use your platform, let's say it's LinkedIn, to create blogs, videos, posts regarding creative writing. Now what you're doing is you're creating value at scale. And from there, you can actively reach out to other people where you notice a CEO that you want to connect with, or let's just say a recruiter that you want to connect with, and you start networking with them. Yo, I wrote this blog recently and I thought you could benefit from this. Here's the link to it. And other times, you could just chill, lay back, provide the value, and others will come to you. Whatever the case is, notice that you're following the same exact principle that you're doing with offline networking. You're providing the value first. That's it. Now, once again, you gotta take as well. Don't just be providing value all the time. Make sure you try to take as well. With these videos, you notice that I traditionally say either subscribe or like. This is me providing value via the YouTube platform, and I would like something back by you liking or commenting, subscribing, etc. Don't feel guilty about taking. You only feel guilty about taking when you take too much or you have a lack of confidence in yourself. You need to provide so much value to a point where you start just providing value by accident. That can happen with you. So those are the general themes for offline and online networking. Give value first, then take value. Now, I told you in the beginning of this video that there was going to be one important tip that most people neglect. And since you made it this far, it's time that I share that with you. You ready for it? It's following up. Follow up. This is by far the most important thing that you can possibly do in building a network. Because it doesn't matter if you spend all your time going to these networking events, you build a connection, and then you just disappear off the face of the earth. You gotta realize that at this stage, the average human, they have so much stimulus coming at them from their social media, from their friend circles, from all the different drama in their life. If you don't follow up, then you wasted your effort for nothing. That's like you blowing into a balloon, but you're never tying the knot. Is that what you want? Follow up. With offline communication, you could do this via social media. This is a great way for you to connect offline with the online world, which is something that I nowadays do. Most of the people that I network with offline, rather than just getting their numbers, I also get their Twitter or their Facebook, because now I'm combining two different fields, offline with online. You could do the same, but you don't want to think about this too much. The main thing is wherever you're most comfortable with in regards to following up. If you're a texter, go text. If you are an Instagrammer and the other person likes to use Instagram, then use Instagram, DM them, like their pictures. But the following up part is where the money is at. This is important, okay? If there's anything that you got from this video, let it be your intent light switch is on, you give value before you take value, and you follow up. Those are the three core insights regarding this video, and that's what's going to make you a powerful networker. You're no longer going to be awkward. You're going to be your genuine self. And most importantly, just keep on practicing. Networking isn't something that we naturally do until we figure out it's what we've always been doing. You building a friend, you building an acquaintance, you've done it multiple times in your life before. Multiple times. I'm sure you have more than 2 friends. I'm sure you have more than 3 acquaintances. So if you did it before, there's no reason that you can't do it again. You absolutely can. You just need to keep on practicing to a point where a conscious act becomes subconscious. You got to do it mindfully before you can do it mindlessly. And once you can do that, that's when your authentic personality is going to radiate, and networking is going to become fun. It's going to become a powerful way that you can build your empire. So if today's video helps you, make sure you drop a like right on below. And if you want more practical insights like this regarding communication skills, sign up for my free daily newsletter. Every day, I email the list at 7 p.m. EST so you can level up your confidence through communication. Thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.